On today's episode, we are sticking the chicken. Hey guys, and welcome back to At the Table. I am here today with Morgan Simpson. She is our intern here in Bladen County for the summer, and she is going to talk about the poultry industry in North Carolina. So Morgan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so hello everyone. My name is Morgan Simpson. I'm a senior studying agricultural production systems at the University of Mount Olive. So the poultry industry in North Carolina is really large. In fact, it's the largest industry or the largest segment in the agricultural industry in North Carolina. When I say the poultry industry, I'm really talking about three different segments. You have turkey production, you have broiler production, and you also have laying hen production or egg production.
Okay. What exactly is a broiler?
So a broiler is just simply a chicken that has been raised for meat. So they're genetically selected to grow really fast, and they're the chickens that you buy at the grocery store.
Great. So you said that the poultry industry was really big in North Carolina. So what makes it so large? What makes it the biggest?
What makes it so large? Well, I'm pretty certain that poultry continues to be like the highest consumed meat in the nation. I'm pretty certain that's right. It bypassed beef not too long ago. But also, it's 44% of our state farm income.
Wow.
So that means out of all the money that is produced by North Carolina agriculture, 44% of that income comes from either turkeys, broilers, the meat chickens, or eggs. So yes, it's very large.
Great. So whenever broilers are being produced, like how is that done? Walk us through that process. Like, are they in a house? Like, is there a difference between broilers and turkeys?
Absolutely. So broilers, they start out in little eggs, of course, but then they soon get put into houses. So broiler production is a little less diverse when it comes to housing forms than, say, your laying hens, which you have your all different cage-free, free-range, battery cages. There's more diverse with the laying hen side of things. But broilers, they're raised in houses, and they're usually grown until they're about 47 days old. And at 47 days, the average American broiler weighs about 6.5 pounds, which 47 days is what? 7 weeks, 8 weeks. So that is crazy to see this little baby chicken that was hatched out to this full-grown broiler in about 7-8 weeks.
So it's a pretty fast process.
It's a very fast process.
All right.
And I think today we're under a lot of different impressions that maybe the poultry industry uses hormones or steroids or antibiotics. But you really have to be careful when looking at these labels.
Yeah, I've definitely heard that a lot. You know, I don't want to buy that because there's hormones, there's steroids, there's antibiotics. So can you help us weed through all of that?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So antibiotics can be used in chickens. Of course, just like you and I, we get sick, we will take antibiotics. However, just like any other type of livestock animal out there, if they're given antibiotics, they have to go through what is called a withdrawal period.
Okay.
Now, each antibiotic is different when it comes to withdrawal period, and what that simply means is that time that you give that animal that medication to that time that animal was slaughtered. So to make sure that we're not consuming anything bad or we're not consuming any antibiotics from the chicken, it has to be given this waiting period so we know that what we're consuming is safe.
Okay. And what about like the hormones and the steroids?
Absolutely. Hormones and steroids are actually illegal. So you see these packages in the grocery store that says hormone and steroid free. Of course they're hormone and steroid free. The FDA actually banned the use of hormones and steroids in the poultry industry back in the 1950s. Okay. So Another thing that I like to talk about is you have these tens and hundreds of thousands of chickens in a farm, in a poultry farm. It's unrealistic to think that we could inject hormones or steroids into every single chicken every single day.
It would be really costly,
very
right?
Very costly and very time consuming, and especially in this industry, time is money. Right. So whenever you purchase your chicken in your grocery store, you can rest free, rest easy that it's not going to have any harmful antibiotics in it that we're going to consume, and no hormones or no steroids were being used.
Well, that's good to know. That's very good to know. Anything else you can tell us about?
Honestly, support your local poultry industry.
Right.
Through the University of Mount Olive, we've been able to tour a lot of different local poultry farms, and they have just been awesome, and they welcome us with open hands. And you can really tell that these farmers out here, they care about their birds, they care about their operations, and they really just want to see the industry grow and get larger. So just know that you're eating good, safe, healthy meat, and just know that you are supporting local farmers.
All right. Well, thank you so very much for coming in and telling us a little bit about the poultry industry in North Carolina and helping us dispel some of those myths that surround chicken and everything. So, all right, guys, whenever we come back, we will get to cooking. We have some really yummy recipes today. We'll see you guys in just a few minutes.
Computer viruses, malware, and ransomware are out there. They're dangerous, and they can steal your identity and damage your equipment. Star Communications is now offering Protect IQ. This service adds an extra layer of protection to every device connected to your network. Working quietly in the background, Star can help you protect yourself from the inside out with Protect IQ. Call Star today and take advantage of this free service when you sign up for whole home Wi-Fi with Star Communications.
All right, y'all, welcome back. We are now going to start cooking. So today we have Honey-Garlic Chicken Skewers. I have already marinated the chicken here. The marinade was very simple. It was just soy sauce, honey. You can use hoisin sauce or ketchup, whichever one you have. A little bit of sesame oil or olive oil, fresh grated ginger, and garlic. And then your chicken needs to marinate for about 10 minutes. So since we have it marinated, we can go ahead and put it on our skewers because we are going to grill this. Now, unfortunately, I am not outside on a grill. I'm using an indoor grill, but that is okay. So you just thread your skewer through the chicken pieces, and this is a pound of boneless, skinless chicken thighs that I have removed the more visible fatty pieces from. And I like using chicken thighs to grill because they tend to stay more moist through the cooking process and they don't dry out as easy. So just skewering these on here. Just like that. You can put as many pieces on the skewer as you'd like. And you could also definitely add veggies to this. You could do mushrooms, bell peppers, onions, even pineapple. Grilled pineapple is amazing. The heat brings out the natural sugars there in the pineapple and caramelizes it. It's great. Yep. It would help if I'd turn my skewer the right way around, y'all. All right, I'm just going to do 2 skewers. That way we can move on to the next portion of the recipe, and that's making the sauce that we're going to brush over the chicken once it's finished grilling. All right. Sometimes you really gotta jab it on there, but please don't poke your finger. All right, let me wash my hands really quick. All right, so the marinade that I made earlier, I reserved 1/4 cup and I place it into a small saucepan. And here you're going to turn the heat to medium high. And while that's heating up, I'm going to mix together 2 tablespoons of water and a teaspoon of cornstarch. And this is just going to help thicken up the sauce so it sticks to our chicken after it's done. Whisk that together. All right, and then we just pour this right into the reserved sauce. And then just bring this to a boil. So medium-high heat. And once it comes to a boil, you're going to let it cook for about a minute so it thickens up. Oh, it smells so good. You can really smell the garlic and the ginger. Ginger is a great flavor enhancer. It really brightens up a dish, and you don't need a whole lot of ginger. That's the good thing about it. It's good in chicken dishes, pork, any sort of like lo mein or Asian dishes. It's really good. All right, this is starting to thicken up here. And once it's thickened up, you can just remove it from the heat. You can see it's pretty thick now. Just take it off the heat and set it to the side. Turn off your burner. And before you put your skewers onto the grill, you're going to want to take a paper towel and dip it in a little bit of vegetable oil and just lightly rub it onto the grates. That way your chicken doesn't stick. So I'm going to finish oiling the grill grates here and get the chicken on, and we'll see you guys back in a few minutes.
Hey guys, Sydney here, and we are doing a little survey that I hope that you guys can be a part of. So it's a quick survey. There's a QR code here that you can scan with your phone. What you're going to be winning, we are going to do a raffle where you can win a fancy knife set. So this is a knife set that I use. It's top of the line. I give it to all my volunteers, and I'm going to be raffling at the end. So please complete our survey. Won't take much time, I promise, and we thank you for having us on At the Table.
Welcome back, guys. I've got this chicken on our grill pan. I wanted to show you guys maybe a different way in case it's maybe raining outside or something like that. You can still grill your chicken skewers inside. And I didn't mention earlier that it's really good to soak your skewers if you have wooden skewers beforehand. That will prevent them from burning or catching on fire on the grill. You could absolutely do these on metal skewers as well. Now this chicken, I'm just kind of flipping it, letting it cook for a few minutes, flipping it over. That way it gets a good, nice, even char on all sides. And you know, we are approaching July, and July is actually National Grilling Month. Pretty convenient seeing that 4th of July is in July, and summer is in full swing at that point. People are always spending time outside grilling. It's a great way to get together with friends, family. All right. Contrary to what a lot of people think, color of your meat is not an indicator of doneness. The best way to check your meat to see if it is done is to use a digital thermometer to check the temperature. So chicken, any kind of poultry, chicken, turkey, duck, needs to be 165 degrees. And we're not quite there yet, so we're going to let it cook for a few more minutes. It's very important to make sure your chicken is cooked completely through. And the reason we reserve some of the marinade instead of using the marinade that's left over is to prevent any sort of cross-contamination between your cooked food and your raw food. So that's why we reserve some of the marinade. Let's give this another check here. And checking one other place. And that's a key thing too to remember is check your meat in multiple places when taking the temperature. All right, I'm gonna let those cook for a little while longer. And while it's cooking, I'm going to chop up our scallion that we're going to use to sprinkle on top of the skewers once they're done. And we'll use the white and the green parts for this. And just chop it up. This is just a rough chop, nothing fancy. Doesn't have to be uniform or even here. To me, the green parts always seem to stick together, and I have to go back over those. All right. So that's all chopped up. Let me give these skewers another turn. They've got nice grill marks on them. Smells really good. And if some of your chicken falls off the skewer, that's perfectly fine too. Not a big deal. I'm going to check the temperature one more time. Perfect there, 165. All right. This skewer I'm going to let cook for a little while longer. It didn't quite reach 165. Here we go. I'm going to slide my plate over here. Throw the skewers down. Just like so. Move these skewers to the middle. And then the reserve sauce that we cooked earlier, I'm going to use a brush and just brush that sauce over these skewers. Just like this. And of course, make sure you turn them over. You want to get both sides. And then just sprinkle with your green onions. And there you have it. That is your honey-garlic chicken skewers. All right, whenever we come back, we're gonna move on to our summer squash and zucchini saute. See you guys in a few minutes. All right, welcome back guys. We are gonna get started on our summer squash and white bean saute. So here in my skillet, I've got oil heating up. It's about a tablespoon of olive oil. And into my pan, I'm going to add diced yellow onion. That's about a half a cup, as well as some garlic. And I'm just going to stir this around until it starts to brown. Get some color to the onions. And in this saute, we also have zucchini and yellow squash. So I've just cut the zucchini in half lengthwise and then diced it into the little half moon shapes. And I've done the same thing with the yellow squash here. we go. All right, all of these vegetables have lots of good nutrients for you. We may have mentioned, Sydney and I may have mentioned before, that you want to eat a rainbow of food. So add different colors to your plate. Don't just stick to one type of fruit or one type of vegetable. Mix it up. Do squash, zucchini, eggplant, carrots, all of that. You want a variety of color. All right, I have all of that chopped up. I'm going to come back over here to my onions. All right, so we're going to saute these onions here. I'm just going to move my pan up to the other burner here. All right, there we go. All right. So the onions are starting to become translucent. So now at this point we can add in our squash and our zucchini, as well as we can add the salt and the oregano at this point. Ooh. All right, got all of those in there. And here you can just kind of salt to taste. Just sprinkle a little bit over. And then it calls for a teaspoon of oregano, but again, measure with your heart. Whatever you want, this is your recipe. Then stir this around. And again, whenever you're sauteing these squash and zucchini, you just want just a little bit of color, just slightly soften up, tender crisp. I like crunch to my vegetable. I don't like it cooked to death. While these are cooking, I want to talk to you about the beans. So most of the time we use canned beans, and that's perfectly fine, but they're usually loaded with a lot of sodium. And so it's a good idea to drain your beans and give them a good rinse. That's going to reduce a lot of the sodium that is in canned beans. Also, you can look for reduced or no sodium added on your can. Okay. And stir these here. Looking good, smelling good. The garlic, the onion, the oregano. It's going to be quite tasty. So you can tell these are starting to soften just slightly. And now we will add in our beans and tomatoes. This is 2 Roma tomatoes that have been diced. Stir this all together. Look at those beautiful colors. Now this is just going to cook for a few minutes, and we will add in some red wine vinegar to brighten it up, give it flavor, as well as some finely grated Parmesan cheese at the end to lend a little bit of creaminess. All right. So I'm going to finish cooking this down, and then we will plate it all together so you guys can see the finished product. And thank you again for joining me here at the Table, and I'll see you guys next time.